Welcome to the Awakening Women podcast. I'm your host, Leanne Oaten, and for almost a decade, I have been a transformation coach and therapist. This podcast is all about lifting the veil of consciousness and awakening to the truth. It is also about helping you to raise the bar in all areas of your life and relationships by starting with you. If you're ready to take back your personal power and reclaim your life, you have come to the right place. I'm so glad that you're here, so let's get started with today's episode. Welcome back to the Awakening Women podcast. I know it's been a while. I have not been posting any new episodes, so I wanted to just hop in and do a quick update and a little bit of an explanation as to why there hasn't been any new episodes and some updates on what's coming and all of that. So it's just been a really busy season, really, really busy. Lots of different transitions, graduation stuff going on for my second child, who is now graduated dance and high school. And there's a lot that's wrapped up in that. So I don't need to go on and on and on, but it's just been a lot of stuff, not just that, but a lot of stuff personally, a lot of stuff breaking and going on the fritz. It just has felt like so much. Like I am looking forward to summer and really simplifying and getting stuff in order and relaxing, working on things that I really want to be working on. And part of that is I have changed how, I mentioned this in a previous episode, how I'm changing how I'm enrolling in my program right now. At this time, it's not even open for enrollment because I am changing the process for how women can join. And it will start with watching a session, like a class session that you have to go through in order to even get to the registration page. The reason why I'm moving into this method is so that women can get more information on how the program works and be able to decide if it's right for them and then take action to go ahead and join from that point. So just a little bit of back behind the scenes of what I'm working on is formulating all of that system so that it is automatic and it removes me from a lot of the process and the day-to-day stuff when it comes to enrolling women into the program, into the coaching group and all of that. So in a nutshell, that is taking up a lot of my time and energy. So then there's also personally a lot of things and stuff just busy. Life is busy. So that's what's been going on here. And it's just felt like sitting down and actually getting this podcast out has felt like a lot for some reason. So I just kind of let that go. I'm not posting as much on Instagram. I stopped kind of doing that a little bit. I tend to go through these cycles, and I think what it is knowing my pattern of why I burn out. It's because I go, hustle, doing all the things, and then I hit a wall. And I'm getting better at seeing that sooner when I'm doing that and looking at, okay, there's a time and place for the hustle and the doing mode, and there's also a time for the being mode and relaxing and kind of letting things go and sort of releasing and surrendering to the process of life, because we can just make it all about doing and getting to the next thing. And most women that I end up working with privately, especially, but women in my program as well, tend to be sort of wired the same way, where we are just very high functioning, high achieving mindsets. And so we're trying to do all the things all the time. So we're balancing career and parenting. Some of us younger kids, some of us teenagers, a household, everything that can go wrong, like owning a home on your own, having all kinds of things, including your car, start going on the fritz. So that's literally what was happening, is like the car. And then it was, oh gosh, I can't even remember all the things. And then eventually it was like the air conditioning stopped working. So I had to get that sorted out. It's just a series of things not working. And then the other day I was driving in a parking lot and someone crashed into my front end of my car. And so that's got to be dealt with. Like, it was just literally like one thing after another, after another, after another. And sometimes you're just like, what the fuck, right? Like, what? And I don't even like to say what else could go wrong. We don't want that kind of affirmation going out into the ethers, right? Like, what else could go wrong? Nothing could get much worse, because it always can. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's safe. We have a roof. We're provided for. We have a car that still runs, even though it's needing some TLC big time. So I was looking like, what's the lesson in all this? Like, why is all this happening? And why does it feel like everything's going to shit? And why does it feel like everything's going wrong at once? And I've coached many women through this when they're making a huge transition, like trying to exit out of a relationship, and they're strategically doing that, and they're taking the steps to do that. It is common for it to feel like everything just starts going wrong, to be a roadblock on the way to that. And from my own life experience too, when I've been in a place like this before, it just felt like hitting against these walls and things going wrong everywhere you look, like things breaking, inconvenient things like that, money stuff, those sort of things. It's always preceded by some kind of a breakthrough, or things like getting, improving and getting better, and you kind of hit that place where things start to get better. But sometimes they get worse before they get better, right? So for me, I think mine was just delayed because everything was going really, really well and smooth. I would say about a year maybe, where it's just been a real challenge to do all the things. It is life too, because life has ebbs and flows. It has ups and downs. It has times where things feel easy and times where things are challenging and really hard. And when we fight up against that, right, we're not really doing ourselves any good. And for a lot of us, it's hard to just surrender and let that go and know, where do I take action? Where do I push? And where do I need to just sort of let go and surrender and relax and just do something else, like go for a walk in nature or go lie in the sun, have a nap. Like, I've had days where I'm like, all I need to do right now, like this whole to-do list, yes, it's going to be here, but I'm so tired right now, I just need to go lay down and take a nap. And then everything feels better after you take a little nap. Try it. If you are completely just overwhelmed and you can't think straight and your brain is just not working properly because you are pushing, one of the best things you can do to let go of that resistance and that push is to take a nap, even if it's just 15 minutes, right? Longer naps aren't always the best. You get too much sleep, but those 15 to 20 minute naps, you wake up and you're like, okay, I can tackle this next thing, or go for a walk outside, whatever it might be. Deal with the emotions, brain dump, write them all down, deal with what is present. So that's basically the lessons I've been learning in all of this, and learning to just kind of let go and accept what is. We can beat ourselves up and go, oh, maybe I should have done that differently, or I really messed up there, or why did I do it this way? I should have done that. I could have done better here, and all these things. Sure, we can learn some of our lessons along the way. But the fact of the matter is that no matter what, even if you were doing things perfectly right, if there was such a thing, life is always going to ebb and flow. And us thinking that it should always just feel like rainbows and butterflies and everything should just flow and everything should work and that we should just feel good all the time and that negative emotions are an inconvenience, that is where we go wrong. So instead, we need to turn inward and do that work within ourselves. So I know this doesn't really necessarily specifically pertain to relationships, but it does, because our relationship with ourselves determines the type of relationship that we will accept with others, right? So if I am taking really good care of me, and I am napping and I'm resting and I'm eating well and I'm listening to my body and I'm meditating and I'm listening to things that are uplifting and I'm continuing to take action in the things that are important in my life and just tackling the list and prioritizing what needs my attention first. Because sometimes when you have 50 things on the list, you look at that and you're like, I have to do all this today. Well, no, what if you just did one and then you delegated the other to this? Maybe you have to make a phone call to get some kind of deadline pushed to this, or a due date pushed to that. And you just look at it instead of getting overwhelmed and hiding or eating or scrolling on your phone or whatever avoidance strategy that you might use. We all have them. is to write them all down and look at them and go, oh, yeah, this is a lot. Like, holy smokes, this is a huge list. And you prioritize what is the most important things right now today that I tackle on this. So maybe it's this phone call. Maybe it is paying this thing and sending that email, making that appointment. And it's starting to just tackle, because then eventually you start getting some momentum and you start feeling like, okay, no, I've got this. It's so easy to go into that dark place. And we all know what it feels like to go to that place. Everybody feels it differently, but you know for yourself what it feels like when you're in that hole, right? It's that feeling of like heavy weight, heavy pressure, like you're drowning, like you're suffocating, like there's no way out, or there's too many things that you can't handle on your own, or you feel alone, or you feel like there's no one coming to help me. That was a big one for me. To be vulnerable is that my thing was always like, who's going to come and help me? There's nobody here to help me ever when I need it. And I realized that was like an old childhood thing that I had to heal by, yes, asking for help from others where they can help me, but also recognizing that no one is coming to save us ever. We have to be our own hero. We have to save ourselves. And that's something that I have held as a mantra is, when I find myself going there, I'm like, sure, where can I ask for support? Where can I ask for something that I need and receive that? But where is it my issue? Like, that I actually have to put on my big girl undies and really step into this and figure this out for myself, because no one is coming to save me. There's areas in your life no one's coming to save you, with your health, with your body, with your wellness, how you eat, how you take care of your mental health, your money, your career, your business. No one is coming to save you in those key areas. Now, if you have a supportive partner and you have some awesome friends and you have coaching or other types of support, hopefully you do, there are other forms of support that other people can provide, yes. But empowerment and really being in our power is knowing what those things are in a healthy way, how we can ask for those things to be met in a healthy way that's not needy and like needing someone or encroaching on other people's boundaries, or just having these expectations that someone else is going to meet certain needs that actually this is my responsibility to meet. Looking at all of those areas and doing a really honest inventory of where you're at, so that you can be honest with yourself about that. In the theme of this episode, and me just kind of coming on here and speaking where I'm at, because I was thinking I need to get something out there. I don't like that just leaving it forever and there's no new episodes coming. I recorded a few others and then deleted them because I was like, no, it's not what I didn't want to, that's not doing it for me. So this is just more off the cuff, me just chatting with you if you are a listener and you're wondering what's been going on with me. And it's just been a lot. And I am looking at where I need to start realigning myself in certain ways. And so I'm looking back at going back to the basics of my daily Empower Hour practice, my holistic self-care wheel, and going back to those basic pieces that I teach in my programs. Like, we have to provide our own foundation, right? We have to be that foundation. And when women come into the program or they enroll with me, the very first module 0 is all about you and your practices. There are recorded practices in there. There is specific meditative practices where I'm guiding you with my voice to really get into your body and develop body awareness. There is the Empower Hour and the Holistic Self-Care Wheel, and you looking at like everything in your life and doing this exact thing. That I practice what I preach, right? I don't just say do these things. I've either done them already or I do them myself. And I know how life-changing they are to develop into your life and bring them in as a practice. So I'm going to be doing some of that myself. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm doing a grad barbecue thing here for my daughter with her friends and some family and all that. It is realizing, and on top of that, I have to go cut grass because it's going to be in the backyard. And the grass is probably up to my ankles right now. So that's something I have to do today as well, among many other things. So if you are feeling stretched to the max, your nerves are fried, you're exhausted, you're getting headaches, you just want to sleep, you're feeling depressed and overwhelmed and anxious and just high pressure and tense, I want you to look at that as a signal that something or a lot of things, a few things, are off balance. And you are responsible for bringing yourself back into balance no matter what is going on externally to you. This is your relationships, your work, your parenting, all of the things external, your family life. Like something is off balance. And sometimes hitting that burnout wall is the messenger of, okay, I need to reassess what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, what I'm avoiding, where I need some help and support, and facing it head on. Because the more we procrastinate and we wait around, the worse things get, right? Things tend to get worse when we ignore them. And this is true in most areas of life, right? When we ignore problems, they don't go away, they get worse. So that is what I wanted to share with you in this episode. And as far as joining my coaching group, my coaching program, and the Cycle Evolve, there's a wait list. So I'll put that in the show notes. So if you are wanting to join in the next intake, when it's all ready to go, you get yourself on that wait list and you'll be the first to be sent all the details of how the enrollment works. And if you're interested in a spot to work with me one-to-one, I do have some spots right now at the time of this recording for a very few women to get bi-weekly coaching. I don't have weekly coaching available right now. I'm too full for that. But I do have the bi-weekly option, and it comes with the whole entire curriculum of both of my programs and the Cycle Evolve and Thriving Beyond Toxic Relationships. So the TBTR is for the 6 months after you leave, what to expect, like the whole process of healing beyond. And then you also get Voxer support with me, which women love because they can text me or voice message me, and I can text and voice message them back between sessions. And then we'd also meet bi-weekly one-on-one. But again, these are very limited spaces and they're by application only. And I'll put that link in the show notes too if you're looking for something really hands-on, getting that one-on-one attention and support. Of course, it is a much higher investment than the group program. So you can have a look at that and see the details and how to apply in the show notes of this episode as well. So that's all I really wanted to come on and share in this episode, and maybe something in this has spoken to you. If it has, let me know on Instagram, send me a message and just let me know if something here resonated with you, or comment on one of my posts. I love to hear feedback about the posts or about the podcasts, because it's one-sided, right? It's me just talking into this dang microphone. It's a one-sided conversation. So please, by all means, come over and chat with me on Instagram. Just comment on one of my posts or send me a quick message if something in one of my episodes really spoke to you, and if something did, what was that? I don't always get back to all of my DMs. I do attempt to read all of them, but I don't always reply to them all. So if you send me messages, I typically do read them all, except for when I can tell they're spam or something that I don't want to read. But I do tend to read them all. I just don't always respond to them all. So all right, that wraps up this edition, and I will be back again for another episode next week. All right, take care. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Awakening Women podcast. If you love this show and it has served you and helped you on your journey, please take a moment right now and leave a rating and review in iTunes and Spotify. If you'd like more daily content, videos, and inspiration, come on over and join me at Awakening Women Support Official over on Instagram, where we can connect and you can continue your transformation and growth journey. And I'll see you online. Take care.